Welcome to the Neither Here Nor There podcast with Laura and Stuart.
Today we're going to be talking about the history of the internet, or rather Laura's and my history on the internet. And after that we're going to be talking about, not search history, then we're going to be talking about, what were we talking about?
The environment
protests that have been going on across the world. And then some silly stuff, and then we'll be done. So thanks for listening, and shout out to Karen and Susan. So, this week the internet turned 30. I don't know if you saw this in the news.
30?
30.
I did not see that.
So Sir Tim Berners-Lee was the British guy, one of the guys behind
Almost as old as me.
Connecting databases from the CERN Research Centre to others around Europe and the world. But he realized that this technology obviously could connect a lot more people. So what I wanted to talk to you about was your journey through technology.
My journey through technology?
Yeah, I mean, like
okay.
your first experience of the internet, your first connection. What programs or things did you use? Like I
remember like number crunchers and Oregon Trail when I was in elementary school.
What the fuck that is? What does that mean?
That would be a very American thing. Like in school, when we had computer time in elementary school, number crunchers was like the first game that we...
And was that internet related, or was it just a game?
No, that's just technology. You said journey through technology.
Yeah, no, I mean technology is in with the internet. So, say for example, you remember the dial-up, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't have it. My neighbor did, so I'd go over to her house to get on her dial-up and have the...
And of course, at the time when the dial-up was connecting, nobody could use a phone in the house.
Right.
Unless
you had two lines.
Take me through MSN Messenger. Did you have Messenger? How old were you when Messenger came out? 25?
I think that I was in middle school, and my neighbor had it. And so I would go over to her house and use the internet and go to her house, and we'd get into chat rooms and things like that.
Did you create a stupid Hotmail account?
Yeah.
What was the name of it?
I can't remember the name, but it had something to do with the first rave that I ever went to.
Nice. I wanted to put the year of my birth in it, because you know it's like a lot of girls you would see with like Pixie Princess 87 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well mine wasn't available. I just watched the movie.
Pixie Princess wasn't available?
No, it wasn't available.
That was what you're looking for?
But there was a movie. I just watched a surfing movie called Blue Juice. You might not have heard of it.
No.
With
it sounds really weird.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, I think, and Sean Pertwee.
Okay.
So my email address was Blue Juice and then a couple of numbers.
Blue Juice and a couple of numbers.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I had to use that for 10 years.
Why? You did not have to use it for 10 years. You chose to.
But all of my accounts were already, then MySpace came along, and then Facebook came along, and everything was linked to that email address. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine... so it had to do with the first rave that I went to, which it was called Good Times 2000. And so it had something to do with that rave.
Good Times 2000?
Yeah.
You were going to raves in 2000?
I did.
God, you're old.
I was in high school.
You were in high school in 2000?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, fair enough. So did you use your Hotmail account or whatever for an MSN Messenger? Did you go on MSN Messenger or just chat rooms?
I think that I did use MSN Messenger at that time. I can remember chatting with a few of my friends.
What can you remember? Because if I remember rightly, on MSN Messenger you could change your name to whatever, and then you would have a profile picture, and then you could even there was like a little widget where you could show what you were listening to with Windows Media Player.
Oh, I didn't do that. No. I just said hi to people.
We were pretty pathetic. Okay, so then in the birth of social networks, did you have a MySpace?
I had Friendster.
What? Friendster?
Yeah, there was a website called Friendster. I had a Friendster account.
And Friendster was a competition for...
I can't remember if Friendster came out before or after MySpace. I never had MySpace.
I think MySpace was a couple of years before Facebook. Facebook started in 2006, but became really popular in 2008, 2009, I think.
I was actually really late to get on Facebook too. Everyone I knew was already on it. I was living here. My parents already had Facebook accounts. I'm like, okay, everybody I know, even my parents have an account. Like, I might as well go ahead and bite the bullet and join. Like, I really didn't want to. I was resisting for a while.
Why were you resisting?
I just didn't really see the point. I wasn't particularly interested in it. But I think that what I liked about it was that it did allow me to kind of reconnect with some people that I had lost touch with. But sometimes you lose touch with people for a reason.
I also wanted to ask you whether or not you ever had like dabbled in making websites or having a page of your own, or apart from your Friendster page, was there any weird websites that not many people use that you did?
No.
None?
No. You?
Well, a few.
Okay, which ones?
So there was one called vampirefreaks.com.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah, well, I had this friend, you see, in high school who was kind of a goth, but he was a big fat ginger goth, which are the best kind.
I think so.
He was also...
Unique. Unicorns.
I'm not one to talk because I am going thin on top, but he was balding at like 17, 18.
Aww.
He was a year older, but he was in our year at high school, and he was thinning. He had long ginger hair, which was thinning on top, and he had a full ginger beard and like snake bite piercings here.
Okay.
On his bottom lip. And he used to go to sort of like, now I can't remember what they were called, but it was like electronic music, but rock electro with girls with like multicolored dreadlocks and stuff. It was kind of a big scene.
Okay.
Probably the precursor to dubstep and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember we went up to London once to this goth electro club, and I put the makeup on. I had black lipstick.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Do you have any photographs of this?
Black lipstick and black eyeliner. And as we were going to this club, we went into McDonald's on the way. And I made this kid looked at me, this 3 or 4 year old boy, and he cried.
No.
Yeah. So I went to the bathroom in McDonald's and took the lipstick off. Anyway, that guy was a member of... Getting back to the point...
You felt bad about it?
Well, a little bit, yeah. I thought, the eyeliner's okay. I'm looking good, I'm rocking it. But the black lipstick was too much.
I would really like to see evidence of this.
You wouldn't. Getting back to what I was talking about, vampirefreaks.com was his... like a website where he used to go to meet goths from all around the world. And it was similar to MySpace in that you had a profile picture and stuff about you and whatever. That's actually where he met the Mexican girl who he fell in love with, and is the reason why he came to Mexico in 2006 and brought me with him. So the only reason I'm in Mexico at all
is because of Vampire Freaks.
Is because of vampirefreaks.com.
Wow.
Because they must have met in the chat room at some point.
Destiny.
So my next question is whether or not you can imagine a future where tech is super integrated, or a future where all the lights go out. What do you think is more likely, or the end situation?
Tech is integrated.
You don't think the lights are going to go out at some point?
Probably, but I think that we're going to be super hyper integrated. That's where we're moving right now. That's what I see. People are not letting go of tech, and it's becoming more and more ingrained in our lives. It's controlling our homes and all the smart home technology. I think that it's really becoming a strong part of our life, and so many things that would have been crazy before, we just take for granted now.
Like what?
I think our cell phone technology, things like audio devices and being able to talk to your device and it plays a song for you. All this audio control stuff.
Because you're really into the sort of the new age, because you have a Dot, right? What's it called? The thing
Echo Dot, Amazon Alexa, Echo Dot.
You have that?
Yeah, I do. I have like 4 of them.
Does that make your life easier? Has it made a big difference in your life?
I like it. I think it's really convenient. I can ask it to play music for me.
That's about it,
right?
What else?
If I'm going to my kitchen and open up my fridge and find that I don't have something, I can just shout at it to add something to the shopping list, and then that sends that to my phone. So when I'm at the grocery store, I can get everything I'm missing. So it's just
and
little
whilst you're
conveniences.
washing up, can you say like, Alexa, what was the Dallas Cowboys result last night?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can ask it for
completely fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
So
But you can also
eventually,
set it up to do more
don't you
things,
think
too.
if technology carries on going the way it's going, we're just going to end up being sort of like these fat, legless, lazy blobs that do
Like
absolutely
Wall-E?
fuck all. Yeah, like just nothing.
Possibly.
Alexa, can you shower me, please? Alexa, can you wash my balls?
We might.
We will. We're going to have, like, rag on a stick electronically.
Uh-huh. But I think that you can kind of start to delegate these meaningless tasks to technology, and then you can pursue other things.
Right.
Ah.
So our time is so valuable that is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying you can explore other things. You can say, okay, I'm going to make a podcast because I saved so much time.
But the 3 seconds that you saved by saying,
No,
Alexa,
overall, cumulatively.
add whatever to the shopping list, as opposed to getting your phone out and writing it, that's going to make you a more productive human, or is it going to make you a lazier human?
I don't think it's laziness, because I think that also you look at the ingenuity that goes into creating all these applications and personalizing it and automating it. I don't think that it makes us lazy. I don't think that you look at like assembly lines and any advance in technology and just go, oh, they're fucking lazy. You know, these are advances that make things more efficient over time.
So, I mean, you're a completely signed up tech geek. Is there anything that makes you uncomfortable about it? Any tech today?
Definitely
is the
the
sacrifice
data
worth
that it
it?
collects from people. The data that collects from people, the potential to basically drop in and listen in, that makes me a little bit nervous.
But is it worth it?
Maybe not. Sometimes it depends on how it's controlled. I think that we're in this territory where we're exploring this tech without knowing its implications fully, and that does make me a little bit nervous.
Okay.
But I'm still using it. I'm still using it for my shopping list and my reminders and.
But do you use tech for really private stuff?
Like what?
Well, you know, they said that with the Cambridge Analytica thing, it was an app that could take all of the information from all of the friends of the people who installed a particular game, including inboxes. I mean, do you use any big tech companies for personal conversations?
Probably.
So
I mean, we text
WhatsApp?
each other all the time through WhatsApp. We use Google Hangouts and messages and email. I mean, all of our lives are in there.
And do you think at some point in the future your great-great-great-granddaughter who's interested in what you were like is going to have available to her everything you ever said, wrote, did, sent online?
I don't think so.
Really? I think that's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why would
I
you
think
want to
that's
go through that?
I think that's going to be like the...
Would you want to go through that for your grandmother?
No, but I think it's going to be like the biography of the future. I think...
Your online footprint?
There will be a technology in the future where you can just type in somebody's name and you'll see everything they ever said, because it will be so distant from your real life. And so many years will have passed, they will say, I imagine, that it's not hurting anyone. And I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to request... I'm imagining some kind of court case in the future where somebody requests their grandfather's WhatsApp messages. Freedom of information, or it's my family, it's my possession, it's my inheritance. All of that stuff. I'm seeing in the future the possibility of someone being able to just...
I'm just trying to understand
everything.
why they would want to.
Well,
or if that's even being recorded, all of it.
Think about historians. You know, there's like a 30-year or whatever, how many years it is, before things that were previously redacted or kept private by the government are released. There's a time period where they say, okay, it's no longer sensitive information.
Yeah.
I would like to know what someone like Donald Trump is searching for on the internet and what his conversations are every day.
Okay.
Because you used to have cabinet meetings for example, during the wartime, which were redacted, or they were freed in England, for example, 30 years later. And you can go to the archives at Kew and put the white gloves on and touch the papers and see the conversations as they were recorded.
I don't think everything's going to be recorded permanently.
But it is.
But a lot of that data is erased.
Have you seen how hard it is to actually erase your data in Facebook?
No.
Try it. I mean, look into it. It's almost impossible. You have to request And you can be sent a PDF of all of your conversations ever, even if you've deleted the messages.
But there is a difference between Facebook that is kind of meant to be public and
Well, the inbox
WhatsApp
isn't.
messages.
Inbox isn't meant to be public.
That's true.
WhatsApp messages, if you reinstall the app, if you uninstall it and reinstall it, all of your deleted conversations appear again.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Good to know, right?
Good to know.
Yeah, it's good to know to avoid being caught saying things and doing things you shouldn't. But
I never do that.
Well, are you that much of a good Samaritan that you just live a good life anyway and you don't have to worry about what you're searching for and writing and stuff online? Or are there things online that you would rather your great-great-great-granddaughter doesn't see?
I'm not particularly worried, honestly. I don't think that I am. Are you?
Well, yeah, of course. I'm a man.
Okay.
We use the internet for other things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but you don't even use like an incognito window?
I use a different navigator and then I delete the history.
Okay.
And I clear the cache.
You might want to look into the incognito windows.
Yeah, I might. Yeah. I'll look into it. But even then, I think there's going to be a way in the future. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
You're writing in your private diaries 200 years ago and you have correspondence, private letters, and today it's all in a museum. So what's the difference between your WhatsApps today?
So you think
and
that
in
someone's
200
going to want
years?
to put Stuart Porter's
No, not
internet
me.
history?
Not me, but historically significant figures? Definitely.
Trump's internet search
Well,
history.
Trump or whoever, Obama, whoever, it doesn't matter. Maria Teresa, what's her name? Mother Teresa, before she died. Like, did she use the internet?
Yeah.
Maybe that's not an example because she's like really old. But you know what I mean, or not? Do you get where
I
I'm
get
coming
it.
from?
I get it. I get where
Like-
you're coming from.
200, 300 years ago's personal letters and diaries are today's WhatsApps.
Yeah. And I think we should care a little bit more than probably I do. But I don't search for the things that you do.
So I don't know if you've seen the last couple of days. I think on Friday there was a worldwide student protest about climate change.
I did not see it.
You did not see it. I think it's
Sorry.
originally a Swedish girl. I might be wrong. Scandinavia somewhere. Girl, 15 years old. I think her name is Greta Thunberg or Thunberg. She started leaving school every Friday, like not going skipping school, sorry, every Friday, and going and standing outside a local courthouse or government house to do a protest about the environment and climate change and, you know, the world that we're going to leave behind for our kids. And now it's become a worldwide thing. And I was reading yesterday there's 120 countries there were protests in on the Friday of students skipping school and going and protesting outside government buildings about how there's no planet B. There's no plan B, there's no planet B, and amongst other catchy slogans. So I was wondering,
What are you wondering?
what you do to save the planet, Laura?
Ooh. I don't know if I do that much. Well, I do know that it's a benefit being vegetarian. It's not particularly why I'm a vegetarian, but I know that it is helpful. I recycle. I try to be mindful of packaging when I'm purchasing things, but it's really, really hard because it's hard to find things that you can purchase. You know, just like at the toothpaste. I just saw something. There's
Toothpaste?
yeah.
What?
All of the toothpaste tubes all come in a cardboard box. Why? Why do they need to have that extra piece there? And I saw some country had like stopped that, and they just sell the tubes, which makes a lot more sense.
But we're pissing into the wind, are we not? With these little changes where they say, like, you can no longer get plastic bags at the supermarket and all that shit. I mean, these tiny little changes are going to make fuck all difference, aren't they? I might be a bit swearing heavy today, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I remember hearing on the radio here in Mexico a lot of publicity about popotes, straws.
Yeah.
And you should ask for your drink without a straw and all that, you know, or take one of these recycled or reusable straws every time you go to the coffee shop. And I kept thinking, well, that's great, except almost every coffee shop now gives you disposable cups, even Starbucks. Here in Mexico, at least, I remember in England, if you go to a Costa or a Starbucks or a big chain, the coffee you're given if you're sitting in is in a cup.
It should be, yeah.
But here in Mexico, everything is in a
Everything
disposable cup. So I was thinking, okay, great. Well, you can take your straw and you can take your thermos flask to Starbucks. And it's great that the government's getting behind this. But you think about the amount of rubbish and pollution in terms of toxic waste that the government, amongst other things like here in Mexico, the petroleum company, the National Petroleum Company, is owned by the government. The amount of toxic waste that they must be chucking every hour, and they want to tell us to change our fucking straws. Do you know what I mean? That's how I felt about it when I heard it.
Yeah. I think more than the straw, it's a mentality shift. If we have the mentality that it doesn't matter, so fuck it, I'm going to use my straw and I'm going to, waste all this stuff or whatever. If we have the mentality that it doesn't make any difference, then we just kind of keep on going wherever we're going. Maybe it doesn't really make a difference, but a collective shift in mentality, I think, can. And that's where I think that it could possibly make a difference. But I do acknowledge, I remember watching a documentary about food waste. We do waste a lot of food on the personal level, throw a lot away. But the majority of this food waste is actually happening before it ever even gets into the grocery stores, where all these truckloads of edible fruit is thrown away before it even gets sent to the grocery store because it is not aesthetically pleasing and it won't sell. And so there are these systematic things, I get what you're saying, that need to be changed, and that's where the big difference is going to be made. But you can't have people pushing for a systematic change if they aren't making a personal one. They're not going to care to make a systematic push or a systematic change.
I see what you're saying. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do the straw thing and do the thermos thing. I agree. I think all of those are great personal sacrifices. But I think they're ultimately pointless if other things don't happen.
But what I'm saying is other things aren't going to happen unless people are pushing for them, and they're not going to push for them if they're not in a mental space to do it. How long have people been
pushing for them?
Collectively, not really a long time, because you have small groups of people, but that it's really accepted by everyone? No. A lot of people just don't give a shit.
Okay, so what's the point of
people don't care.
If I'm an American and I decide to never use anything disposable again, what's the point of me doing that if my president is a climate change denier?
The point of you doing it personally?
Yeah.
Not much. But the point of collectively people doing it does bring about a change. It has to be a spread, I guess.
Will it bring about a change fast enough? Because I was reading that we're 11 years away from this being non-reversible in all cases, like in all senses. It's kind of depressing.
It is.
This
absolutely.
is a depressing topic. I shouldn't have chosen this. I'm sorry.
Really, complete shit. Thank you.
I'm probably completely wrong. But I see aspirational countries that are growing, like China and India and Brazil, and I just see, when I lived in Brazil anyway, I just saw more and more aspiration of accumulation and consumption, and I don't think this is ever going to turn around in 11 years. I think we're completely fucked. Well, we might not be. But I keep reading things about 50 years' time, there'll be no meat. We won't have any meat anymore. Or 100 years' time, we're going to have to try and think of, we're all going to have to eat insects because they're the source of protein, which is most abundant. And then I read last week that a huge percentage of insects have died. But if insects disappear, or even one or two or three particular key species of insects disappear, we're all fucked. Everything is fucked.
Well.
And it's going that way. So yeah, I thought I'd mention it because this girl, Greta, has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Nice.
Because of her every Friday taking the day off school to go and protest climate change.
I think it's cool to see how young people are actually doing so much more than we have. That, I didn't care about anything when I was around that age. I didn't do anything about.
You just cared
I
about
wasn't an activist.
Your next fix of smack. That's all you cared about.
My next, yeah.
You just cared about catching things from sharing needles. That's all you cared about.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, no needles. No.
Okay, so this is our silly section. Today I've decided to ask Laura a series of would you rather questions. Okay, number one. Would you rather be transported permanently 500 years into the future or 500 years into the past? 10 seconds to think about it.
I
That's
don't need 10
500
seconds.
years.
500 years to the future. And my reasoning would be curiosity. I want to see what's going to be happening then.
But you would be a complete fucking retard. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. You would be.
You should not. Good one there. Don't edit that out. Be an honest personality.
Okay,
Good
sorry.
job, Stuart.
You would be seen as a seen. Oh my God. You would be an idiot.
Can't recover.
You would be an idiot.
Yeah.
Whereas 500 years in the past, you'd be a genius. You would know everything that's coming.
So there you go. Maybe you would choose. You would choose that narcissism to be this idolized genius, and I would choose to learn more and to be curious.
You should have thought about it longer.
No.
You're going to contribute absolutely nothing.
That's
Think
fine.
about if you go back 500 years, how quickly you could get humans to advance.
Oh, how? Do I actually know how to develop any of this
You would have the
technology?
ideas, though.
I could say, oh, here's these ideas, and they'll say, that's not real. And I wouldn't know how to do
500
it.
years is before even the Industrial Revolution.
Well,
You could start the Industrial Revolution in the year 1500. Where would we be now? But no, I'm narcissistic. That's fine. Okay, next question. Okay. Would you rather know the history of every object you touched or be able to talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
Really?
Yeah. Talk to animals. I don't need 10 seconds for these. Because I think that I'd be interested to talk to them if I'm knowing the history of an object, but I'm knowing the history of this
Everything you touch.
So I grab this mug and I know the history of the mug. Why do I want to know that?
Equally, you can grab a gun and you know who killed who.
So you're thinking like I can be a solve crimes?
You could solve crimes.
I guess I could.
Think about other applications as well. Like
maybe the animals observe the crimes and I can talk to them as witnesses. Next question.
That's so Black Mirror. Okay, next question. Would you rather, and bearing in mind you have to choose one.
Okay.
Would you rather know when you're going to die or how you're going to die? And you can't change either the time or the method. You can't change anything. You either have to know when or how.
When.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. When. The how can be a surprise because I think the how would just either I would build up too much anxiety about it if it was like a terrible, horrible, mangled death. And the when gives me some control.
Imagine you're murdered by a chainsaw.
I would rather that be a surprise. I don't really want to be thinking about that for the. And then imagine if you knew you're going to be murdered by this horrible, hacked up by a chainsaw, and you don't know when it's going to happen.
Fair enough. Okay. Next one. Would you rather lose all your memories from birth to now or lose your ability to make new long-term memories from now onwards?
Lose my memories from birth to now.
All of them?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't know who you are. You'd just be sat there with drool.
Oh. Well, then I can make myself new, I guess.
This isn't like Memento where you can tattoo all of your memories on you.
I liked that movie. Well, if I choose to keep my memories from then, but then I'm just stuck. I'm stuck right now. I can't make any new memories? No, I wouldn't want that.
Would you rather lose all of your money and valuables or all of the pictures and videos you've ever taken?
Ooh.
Have I finally found a challenging one? Because all of the other ones are like piss
pretty
easy for you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're easy for people that don't think, but yeah.
I have not chosen wrong.
You're just going to be a future retard. Again, I shouldn't say that word twice.
No.
Definitely can't get away with it twice.
No.
Yep.
No, everyone's going to hate you. Wait,
so
what was the
lose
question?
all of your money and valuables or lose all of the photos and videos that you've ever taken.
Do I
can't see them
lose
ever.
like my job and my ability to make money and have things in the future?
No, you just start from zero tomorrow.
Okay, I'll start from zero and keep my pictures and those things.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't want to lose your past memories.
No,
because you wanted to making new ones is more important than losing the past ones.
Right.
But for photos, it's different.
But I'm being sentimental about the photos, because you're comparing.
That photo's a memory, isn't it?
Right, but I'm just...
So you're just a hypocrite, basically.
No, I'm saying it's a different comparison. So
You
in one
just
situation...
completely contradicted yourself.
No, I didn't.
I caught you.
No, if you let me explain.
A memory is a photo is a memory. It's the same thing.
Right, I know, but
Yet
it's
your
what
answer's different.
It is different because one, you're up against money, right? You're saying money or your memories, and the other, it's losing your identity, your sense of self, your ability to
future identity.
make any memories in the future
Right.
versus losing your past.
I
So
see
it's
your
up
point.
against a different thing.
Okay, I didn't catch you.
Jeez.
I didn't catch you. The last one is, would you rather have a clown only you can see that follows you everywhere and just stands silently in a corner watching you without doing or saying anything, or have a real life stalker who dresses like the Easter Bunny that everyone else can see?
Well, I guess the Easter Bunny real life stalker, because people could see him and hopefully help me do something about it.
But if the clown doesn't do anything or say anything, he just stands in the corner.
And it's going to make me insane.
He's going to be there all the time.
He's going to make me absolutely insane.
But the Easter Bunny stalker could actually do something.
And people can see him so they can help me.
No, you're not always with other people.
Well, he'll already be arrested.
Wow, you have a lot of faith. You have a lot of faith in the security services.
Interesting questions, though.
Thanks. How was that?
That was excellent timing there.
Nice quality. I want to hear that back later. That's going to go. That's going
We're
to go
into the red.
That's going into the post credits.
There we go.
Right.